Okay, so we are recording. Watch your language. Right, scratching. Okay, so this was slides that I devised during the lockdown, and they've been really, really useful, and I like to go over them again. So let's go through this. So obviously the workshop, you're going to look at different components of your diet. You're going to be able to ask questions related to diet and nutrition, and also you're going to have the group discussion, and we're going to have personal experiences at the end. Okay, so if you have a pen and a piece of paper handy, brilliant. You can start writing away. Obviously, this is going to be recorded as well, so it'd be nice to take notes now and also to use this video as a refresher, in weeks and months and years to come. All right, so you'll get your diet real talks. If everybody wants to mute out just for now to stop any interference, and then if you want to chat, you can type into the chat, or else you can unmute yourself and chat. So getting a balanced diet and developing good habits is far beneficial than exercise alone. So I always hammer on about calorie tracking, and I know I probably melt heads. You get your weekly message from me going, could you please increase your calories or do this or prep the night before? But the reason being is that when you create that habit, when you build the momentum within that habit, it becomes the norm. Otherwise, you're going to be chasing your tail, forever. Literally, if you do not stick with it and grind with it and get the momentum built and get the habit established. Okay, so that's why I always go on and on about that. So diet alone, okay, so the diet alone will help you reduce body fat, it'll help you lose weight, okay, but it's much better if you combine it with exercise. Peter coming in again. Okay, so obviously the two go hand in hand. Exercise, diet is number one, okay, and then exercise is number two, but the two combined is the perfect match. If you solely diet, for instance, if you chose like a fad diet direction, and I'm not going to mention any names on this, but I'm sure you'll all be familiar with what fad diets are, and when we go into the sports nutritionist slides later on, it'll all make sense. Okay, so if you choose to diet and you don't exercise, you'll just become a smaller version of what you are. Okay, that's all that happens. But if you choose to exercise and you diet together, you will change shape because you'll start to build muscle, you'll increase bone density, you'll improve flexibility, improve mobility, your posture, even mental health. All of these things are going to improve with exercise. Okay, exercise alone will only get you so far. So if you start a new exercise plan, or if you start a new exercise for the first time, so say you're absolutely new to exercise, you'll get gains, you will, and you'll progress for about 3 weeks. And after about sort of 4, 5, 6 weeks, you'll just plateau. Okay, and that's what happens if you do not complement it with diet. All right, so just wanted to make that clear for you. So the diet cycle reality. So, and this is really, really important to home into this as well. So you want to start a diet, okay? So you've got it in your mind. You want to start a diet. You start a diet, okay? And everybody thinks by being on a diet that you have to restrict yourself. January is probably the prime example for that. Everybody, I remember going into Lidl, myself and Anna Marie went into Lidl in January, and there was no veg. There was actually no veg in Lidl because everybody was on this health kick. It was crazy. And then about 2 weeks later, there was loads of veg. They were giving it to you. Do you know what I mean? And that's the crack. Everybody's restricting. And they're restricting carbs, especially because carbs get a bad rep. Carbs are the enemy. And we're going to talk about that later on as well, because carbs are definitely not the enemy. So you're restricting yourself. Then what happens is you start getting cravings, because your body, it's a very natural thing. If you're under eating, your body will just start craving food. You can't outdo cravings. The cravings just means you're not eating enough food, by the way. Okay, so what will happen is you'll fail with the diet with limited results. Okay, then you'll probably be exhausted. You'll probably get a serious sickener. You'll probably be knackered. You'll probably find that your sleep and everything's off. And then you'll go back up to here again, wanting to start a diet. And that's the cycle. That is the cycle. And I've seen it for years. Okay, and I'm going to make sure that nobody here goes through that cycle at all, ever again. All right, so Social and psychological impact of nutrition, so people's feelings and their relationship with food. So some people are emotional eaters, comfort eaters. Some people, when they're stressed, can't eat. Me personally, whenever I'm stressed, I lose my appetite, but I know some people, when they're stressed, they reach for food, especially junk food. It just depends. Everybody's completely different. Okay, the reward system, being good all week and then treating yourself at the weekend, I'm all for that. I'm all for, living sort of 80-20% balance during the week. So 80% clean, 20% crap. And then at the weekend, overspilling and having a wee bit of a treat. But what I don't recommend is going all out on a binge all day Saturday, all right through Saturday and then all day Sunday. Because some people, once they have something bad, they're like, oh, well, that's it. I'll just give up and just eat all around them. And then it spills into like a couple of days. Have something at the weekend. If you've banked the calories, which we'll talk about as well, and don't feel guilty about it. Do not feel guilty about eating food, especially if you have it in a balanced calorie range and a balanced macro split. There's no reason to feel guilty about it. Okay. And also, if you've got any doubts about that, I can set you up with clients on calls who have been on high calories, who have lost loads of body fat, put on muscle, or in the shape of their lives right now. Okay, because I know that there's this thing about eating more calories is going to mean that you're going to put on more weight. But I have a scientific formula to help you with that, to ensure that you don't put on weight and you continue to achieve fantastic results. All right. So obviously, boredom eating, that was massive during lockdown. So lockdown just brought obesity up to another whole new level again. And a lot of people are still struggling with that. All right. Fad diets, we all know what fad diets are, and if you don't know what fad diets are, you can look them up or you can ask me, I just don't want to mention names, what actual companies that are promoting fad diets, because I wouldn't slander another business, but I'm sure we all know, who they are. Okay. So extreme calorie deficits, I've heard of, clients eating 800 calories. I've heard of that. Okay. I'm not for it at all. I know Dr. Michael Mosley, his thing is 800 calories a day. And he was saying about helping to reverse type 2 diabetes and stuff. Me personally, I wouldn't recommend that to a client. And the simple reason being is because it's not sustainable. And this is my personal opinion. And it's setting a client up with the wrong relationship with food, essentially, okay, because it's only going to last for so long and you're going to burn out on that. And eventually, and nobody would have the discipline to reverse that on that fully to ensure that they do not rebound. So I'm not for that at all, but that's me personally, okay. Next one, equilibrium. So equilibrium is basically if you go out, say for instance, you go out at the weekend and you go on a bit of a bender and eat all around you, okay, your body will find its equilibrium. So it'll find its middle ground, like sort of 3 to 5 days later. So if you go on an all-inclusive holiday and you come back and you put on like half a stone, and then the following week, you're noticing the scales are starting to drop down. That's the equilibrium kicking in. Okay, the worst thing you can do if you've had a bit of an overspill is start restricting calories, okay? The best thing to do is just to continue on as normal, tracking your calories, doing your workouts, and just carrying on with it. And if anything, utilizing those extra calories that you've had, because those calories, you can then in turn use those as fuel for your workouts. Okay, win-win. All right. Overeating, alcohol, scale data say returns back to normal 3 to 5 days. Alcohol will slow down the fat burning process. Even though alcohol, if it fits your macros, like alcohol's calories, if it fits your macros, fair enough, but alcohol will definitely slow down your gains. It'll slow down your progress, okay? So just bear that in mind. Next one, involuntary uncontrollable actions. So your appetite and hunger, you just can't resist it. It's physically impossible. No matter how much willpower you have, when you're hungry, you will eat, okay? Female menstrual cycle, again, I'm not a doctor. This is just facts, okay? So 2nd and 4th week of the cycle will affect your scale weight, that is, due to hormones, water retention, bloating, cravings higher, okay? All of these things, okay? So obviously the women on here would know better about this than me. I've never experienced it personally, okay? Self-destruct mode, so setting unachievable goals. Look at your lifestyle, look at your roles and responsibilities. So let's say, for instance, you have a full-time job and, you're bringing up a family and you're trying to do double sessions, you're trying to train twice a day, and you're trying to restrict calories and all the rest of it. Do you think that's going to serve you, like long term? Absolutely not. It's different if maybe if you're younger and you're at university and you've got a wee bit more free time. Yes, all that stuff will serve you, but you've got to think about the goals that you're setting. Are they realistic for your lifestyle? Okay, and if they're not, there's no point in even starting. All right, so the likes of fitness models and stuff and all, like, they'll be devoting 5-6 hours a day. So what you're seeing on Instagram and stuff and all, a lot of them are professional at it. They're doing it hours and they're getting paid for it. And that's why they look, and by the way, these people are all measurable. They're constantly cutting calories. They're constantly just shows and photo shoots. I wouldn't want to be them. It's an absolute miserable existence just to look good for pictures and to make a few quid. Okay. Obviously, other stuff as well, bypasses, gastric band surgery, all that stuff. So obviously, you don't want to go down that route. Metabolic adaptation. So this occurs when you cut calories. So for instance, if you drop to 1,600 calories, you'll lose weight, okay? Because you're dropping calories, you're having less food, and inevitably you will lose weight, okay? And that's what's going to happen, okay? And then in order to lose more weight, you either have to expend more energy, so that's do another training session or walk more or whatever, or you can drop calories, okay? But what'll happen is the body's very, very smart, and it'll adapt, and it'll stop dropping scale weight, okay? You'll stop dropping body fat essentially. So then what you have to do is you have to drop the calories again, and this is all to do with metabolic adaptation. It's the same as if you do, like say a diet, like, Atkins diet or whatever, the first time you do it, you'll always get the best response. You'll always get the biggest response. Then when you do it again, your body's very, very clever, and you'll never get the same response as you got that first time. And you'll end up chasing the dragon. Somebody want to say something? No? Okay, cool. So that's what metabolic adaptation is. So it's just basically very, very clever. It can tell, like, whenever you're dropping calories, and then essentially it starts storing food. So whenever you do start to eat a bit more, it'll just hang on to it, okay? So that's what metabolic adaptation is. And I always say slow and steady wins the race, okay? Treat it as a marathon and not a sprint, because why would you want it to be over? Why would you want your success to be over, okay? So you got to look at it that way. Macros just simply means macronutrients, okay? So the fundamentals are the carbs, the protein, and the fats. The carbs are not the enemy. The carbs are the primary source of energy, by the way. So when you start dropping carbs, you will lose weight quickly because the carbs retain the most amount of water, but you'll also your energy levels will start to drop quickly as well, okay? By meeting your protein, okay, it'll help fill you longer, and it'll also help you build lean muscle tissue, which is really, really important. Fats are very important, and they won't make you fat in moderation, okay? So good fats are needed in the body, all right? Now remember, fats are calorie dense, so the likes of nuts and stuff and all, like, you can go over your fat macros very, very quickly if you don't have them weighed out, for instance, so you have to be mindful of that, okay? Next one then, carbs. So that's 4 grams per calorie. These are examples of carbs. You've got, like, your breads, your pasta, you've got oats as well there, fruits. Fruit as well is a fantastic source of carbohydrate, and fruit gets a bad rep as well. Fruit's okay. It's simple sugars, you'll burn it off very easily, and you'll not get an insulin spike on it as well, the same as you would do, with sweets, etc. So carbs are very, very good, okay? You've also, let me see here, you got your protein. So it's 4 grams, it's 4 calories per gram as well, same as the carbs. And we're going to go into the next couple of slides eventually to show you calorie swaps for anybody who doesn't eat meat, etc. So we'll go on to that too. So protein helps with the immune system, helps with hormones, muscle growth, and much, much more, okay? But it also helps aid with fat loss, okay? And the reason being is that the protein has the highest thermogenic effect of all the macros. So basically what that means is that your body needs the most amount of calories to break down the protein macronutrient. So whenever you hit your protein, so Katie, for instance, you asked me, was it okay to spill over your calories in order to hit your protein? Absolutely. Because look at the benefits that this is going to have for you. So if you're spilling over by another couple of hundred calories, and you're meeting your protein, go for it. Albeit if it's a couple of hundred calories over, it's grand. As long as it's not every single day, one or two times a week, whatever, it's fine. It's absolutely grand. Okay. Protein powder as well, that got mentioned before. I'm not a fan. I think you're better off eating proper food. I'm not a fan of supplements at all. I think if you can get it from proper foods, go for it. If you need to make up the remainder with some protein powders, by all means, that's okay. But I wouldn't be using it as like, you know, to bulk up the main of your protein within your diet. I would just have it used in reserve to maybe make up the last sort of 20 or 30 grams of protein. That's all I would use it for. And I wouldn't really be using it every day either, maybe a couple of times a week, if you can do it that way. Protein powder will save you money though. That's inevitable. You know, protein shakes will be cheaper than buying lean meat, etc. Again, it's entirely up to yourself. Personally, I've tried protein shakes and I just don't really like them. Okay. Fats then, so it's 9 calories per gram. So the fat has got the highest calorie range out of all the macros. So it's calorie dense, as we've talked about. But again, you need to have fat in your diet in order to have a balance. And also by hitting your fats, it'll also help keep you fuller for longer, simply due to the fact that the fats are slower to digest. So it's slow release. All right. Any questions so far, anyone?
All good.
All good. Happy days. Good. So this is like a government guideline that females take 2,000 calories and males take 2,500 calories. Again, this is just a ballpoint figure because you could have, for instance, a female who is a lot taller, for instance, than a male and weighs more, and therefore that they would need more fuel, than a male that say is smaller and lighter. So this is just a ballpoint. That's all it is. Okay. And I'm going to show you the calorie, the formulation, the scientific formulation that I use, and we'll all work that out in a wee second. And it'll show you exactly where you should be at. All right. Calorie deficit just basically means that fewer calories in your body needs to maintain its current level of body fat. Okay. Calorie deficit is also exercise. You don't have to always drop calories. I'm a real fan of keeping calories high, simply for the reason is that I want to have energy all the time. I don't want to drop carbs. I don't want to feel lethargic. I want to have energy. So if anything, I'll do an extra training session and I'll keep my calories high, because let's face it, we all love food. Who wants to reduce food? We all love it. So my go-to would be keep my calories the same, and instead of dropping calories, have an extra training session. All right. And it works far, far better. So this is a big thing as well. So obviously whenever I'm going through my fitness pal, Monday to Thursday, Monday's very good. Monday's excellent. Monday's like the best day of the week for everybody. And then as the week goes on, Thursday, Friday, it's like, and then Saturday, it's maybe breakfast is tracked and then forget it. You know, and I see that, like, and that's what happens. Okay. But there's a smart way of doing that, and it's called banking calories. Okay, so you can bank calories. So say, for instance, you're on 2,000 calories daily. Why not bank 200 calories Monday to Friday and add the extra 1,000 calories onto your Saturday? So there's 3,000 calories on a Saturday. You should be able to have something nice for that. You should be able to have a couple of drinks, and you're not going to do any damage. All right, that's the smart way to do it, instead of just not tracking calories at all. Okay, and then Sunday you get back on it again. All right. And again, I can show you how to bank calories. I can talk to you through that, the ins and outs as well. The split that I use, very, very common split that I use, is a 40-30-30 split. The main reason being is this is 40% carbs, 30% fat, 30% protein. And the main reason being, for sustainable fat loss, it's a gram of protein per pound of body weight. So whenever you put in the scientific calculated formula, which we're going to get in a second, when you put it into MyFitnessPal, so say, for instance, you know, if it's 2,000, whatever, and you put the 30% in, it should match up a gram of protein per pound of body weight as to what you are, okay? And the 40%, obviously the carbs, I always keep the carbs the highest. And this is just a nice way, easy split to stick to. Now, for instance, if you are very, very active, like you've got a very active job, you're on your feet all day, you know, I would maybe put the carbs up and I would maybe drop the fats. I'd maybe stick that up by 5% and maybe drop the fats. For instance, you know, Big Fry in the group, Big Fry is flat out running. So I know on his active recovery days, he does like a 5K in the morning and he does a 10K in the evening. And he's pretty consistent with that. So Freya would be on a 50% split. So there's no point in giving him high protein. Well, not that it's high, but there's no point in keeping his protein and his fats at 30% whenever carbohydrate is the primary source of energy. So therefore, Freya is on 50% and he's on 50, 25, 25. That's a split that he's on. He's also went to like 60% as well and went 20, 22 as well whenever he's in real peak times with his training. Okay, so that's really, really important to remember that. And there you go, body weight in pounds times 10 times your energy expenditure. So if you want to write this down, okay, so work out what your body weight is in pounds, times that by 10, and times that by your energy expenditure. So if you're training 1 to 3 times per week, it's 1.375. If you're training 3 to 5 times per week, it's 1.55. Okay, and if you're into double sessions, it's 1.6. But nobody here is at double sessions. The only one that I would have would be Big Fra, and Rory as well, that does the virtual too. Rory would definitely fit into that bracket. So write that down for me, and we're going to come back to that as well. We'll come back to that later. Tips to manipulate calories. So banking of calories, which I talked about, was banking, 200 Monday to Friday. I only suggest doing that if you've had at least 2, 3, 4 months of tracking calories. You've been on point consistently for weeks and you know the ins and outs of calorie tracking. I wouldn't recommend anybody in their first couple of weeks or even their first month to start banking calories. I think you need to get used to it and you need to learn the concept in and out before you start manipulating calories in this manner, okay? Intermittent fasting just basically means that you skip breakfast. That's all that means, okay? So you're basically pushing your calories later into the day, and that's what I do. I intermittent fast pretty much every day, and it was something that I got into with work when I used to work in the gyms. I never had time to eat in the morning because I was taking the classes and stuff. So now I actually don't feel hungry until around about 11 or 12, and I just drink coffee in the mornings. As you all know from your True Coach messages, I've got about 2 coffees in me. But yeah, so and coffee is an appetite suppressant as well. So caffeine, all that sort of stuff will suppress appetite. But I find that it works better for me. I love to go carb heavy for my last meal of the day. That's the way I work it. I kind of restrict carbs, and that last meal of the night, I am carb heavy. I go into a carb coma, and then I go to bed, and I love it, and that's the way I do it, okay? And it works really, really well. Calories, weekends only. So there's another formula you can use as well. You can do macros and calories Monday to Friday, and then the weekends you can do calories only. That's another way of doing it as well. So you don't have to do the macro split. You can do the calories, because at the end of the day, 2,000 calories, whether it be in a 40-30-30 split or whether it be 2,000 calories of calories only and like no split, with whatever, as long as it's in, it's still the same volume of food. It's the exact same. The only difference is when you have higher carbs retain more water, so they'll pull more water in. So you've got more carbs in your body than normal. Even though it's still 2,000 calories, your scale weight will still say that you're weighing heavier, and it's only water weight. That is all it is, okay? Now, if you have a split, okay, if you have a 40-30-30 split consistently all the time, you're going to reach your goals and you're going to achieve your results much quicker, all right? But again, it's about treating this as a marathon. It's about treating this as a lifestyle change. It's about something that I would expect you to be doing for years down the line is, tracking calories, or not just, track calories for the first 6 months until you get used to it. But I want you to do something not just for the moment. I want something that's going to serve you years down the line. I'm talking 5+ years down the line. So macros and calories during the week, calories only during the weekend if you want to. Absolutely fine. And it will slow down your results, but not by that much. Okay. Right. And what you might find as well, if you go calories only, you might find you're really a bit sluggish, depending on the quality of the food that you've had. Takeaway food, etc., all the grease and everything else. You know yourself, you just don't feel too good when you get up the next day. Okay, so you just bear that in mind. Especially if you're going to train and you've had maybe a Chinese the night before, it just doesn't sit well. Have the Chinese after the training session, not the night before. Okay, right. So recommended supplements, as I told you before, I'm not a massive fan of supplements. There's loads of stuff out there, fat burners and stuff and all, but again, it's a short-term fix. It's not good for your health. And again, would you be doing it in 5 years' time? Ask yourself that question. Would I be doing this consistently for the next 5 years? If the answer is no, just move on. Don't even think about it. Okay. Fish oil is one that I do recommend. It's one that I take daily. I take the Ecology. It's Scandinavian from Norway, and it's really, really good. Fish oil, you can get vegan versions of that as well. And the fish oil, what it does is it helps with the digestive system. It tightens the digestive system up. It helps you get fat loss. It helps with skin, bone, like everything, hair and everything. Like fat, fish oil is fantastic. So what the problem is with, our diet is we're deficient in omega-3, but we're too high in omega-6, okay? And it leads to inflammation, a lot of like joint inflammation as well. So if you can start finding foods that are rich and high in omega-3, by all means going for it, So that's what you really need to be looking out for. Digestive enzymes will help with bloating. So Hollett and Barrett sell them, if you're out for a meal and you feel bloated or whatever, they're very, very good. I mean, those two are really the only supplements really. Vitamin D3 in the winter as well is another good one. Vitamin C. That's really about it. Okay. The rest of it, you should really be getting it from your food, the supplements, all that sort of stuff from your food. Okay. Let's see. Any questions before we move on to the next slide?
Can I just ask a question, please?
Yes.
So regarding the fact that you skip your breakfast in the morning.
Yeah.
So what would you have then at 11 o'clock? What sort of meal are you having at 11 o'clock to make up those calories?
For me, like I would have maybe around about 11 o'clock, maybe a couple of slices of toast with like a mackerel fillet with extra virgin olive oil, the ones you get in the tin, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Something light. Again, like I like to keep all my food later on. I might have like a wee fruit bowl from Lidl with it as well. I keep it very, very light. I keep it very basic. I'm not a fancy eater when it comes to like flavors and stuff as well. I quite like that. Another one that I like at nights go to is like a packet of rice, like the Uncle Ben's basmati rice. I'd hang that in the microwave and I'd maybe have like 2 tins of tuna in that. And I'd maybe have like a wee bit of sauce, mix that up and have that as well for maybe in the lunch.
Yeah.
And that helps me hit my protein and helps me hit my carbs. We got fat in that as well. And it works wonders. Another good one is making up a shake. So I'm guessing, Chaz, because obviously, you're so busy in the morning, isn't it? And you're thinking, is that what you're thinking? Like, yeah.
Of course, so, I don't have time for breakfast in the morning. So I'm like you, I don't really stop. There's like a pause maybe, maybe 10:30, 11 going, oh, I'm hungry. So what I'm looking for is like, do I take the Special K with fruit? I would I would eat a lot of fresh fruit. I buy a lot of fresh fruit every week. So it's just really something that's going to, do I have 2 boiled eggs or a scrambled eggs, wholemeal bread, that sort of thing.
If you have time to prep it, absolutely. If you don't, the shakes and stuff, you can make that up from the night before. Like I've sent you the recipe, I sent that into the group chat. So, like mixing it up with avocado, you're talking about the oats and stuff and all. You could put that all into a shake and blend that, and you could put some apple into it. You could put a wee bit of Alpro milk and stuff. You could mix absolutely everything. Egg whites, you could put the whole lot in that. So you could actually have a really nice balanced breakfast. I know it's in liquid form, but you're having that in a shake for to have on the go. Now remember, liquid food does not fill you as long. So you're not going to be satisfied as long if you're drinking your calories. Okay. Solids will definitely keep you fuller for longer. But it would definitely be a good one for you, Shags. I know that like sometimes it's very late on in the afternoon before you're getting your first meal, so that might be a good one for you.
What works for me sometimes, Shaz, just I would have a coffee in the morning, and sometimes I can have breakfast, or sometimes I'm late, so I'll just have something in work. A protein yogurt, like the ski yogurt. So with those, with your fruit and high protein granola or some seeds and some things like that is good. If I have like a yogurt in the morning, like one of those ski yogurts, I basically, if you look at my Fitness Pal, like my diet basically is ski yogurts. It helps me, and it helps me hit my protein.
Yeah, the levels for the daily level, yeah, as well.
Yeah, it helps me.
That's
Yeah,
good.
just look from Monday, not from the. This is why I'm here tonight. I need a refresher.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's good to know, as I say, because as Dave knows me well, but sometimes I end up out in the road and I don't stop, you know, and I know whenever I go in to do a training session, I'm running on empty, which is not good for me either. Do you know what I mean? So it's just good. It's all preparation as well. Do you know what I mean? If you have the mindset, then you'll get into the habit of doing it. You know, whether it be a protein shake or you're doing by yourself, avocado, kale, whatever it be, or you know, having the scrambled eggs and wholemeal bread, you know, it just depends, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's preparation's key. You know, on time is late, is what I say with anything at all. You know, with tracking calories, if you're getting up in the morning out of bed and you're like, what am I going to eat today? It's too late.
Yeah.
You know, it needs to be planned the night before. It really does.
That's fair comment. Yeah, absolutely. It's good to know. Thank
Good.
you.
Okay, thank you. Great question. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing this, and I'm going to bring up. I'm going to bring up a new set of slides for us. Okay, so let's see here. Bear with me a second. Bear with me a second. I'm going to bring up new slides here. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So these slides here are from Chris Lowy, who I'm going to share it now with you. So Chris is a sports nutritionist. Okay, so this is his work. All right. Bring this up. Share. Just want to share this with you. Where is it here? Okay. So can everybody see this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So just going to go down to slide 8. I know there's probably a more savvy way to do this, isn't there? For myself and IT, we don't really get on too well, you know.
What are you trying to do, Dave?
I'm just trying to put it into a part like a slide formation.
Full screen?
Yeah.
You need to press the Alt button and then it'll give you the options at the top. No?
I'm not sure what's happening here. Alt.
Is it a PDF?
Yeah.
There should be an option at the bottom of the screen.
Must charge this up, actually.
So it's
Page view.
page view single. I'm not sure. I'll probably have to do it this way then. Can you see it like this? Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
No worries.
So if you're fit enough but your performance sucks, it's your nutrition. Now I know that this is sports nutrition, and I know we're not athletes. Well, we are athletes. We train like athletes. We do. We train hard. Okay, so let me just go through these. And I've sent these slides into the group chat before. I can also send it again if anybody doesn't have them. So let me just go through this very, very slowly to make sure that we are covering all bases. Okay. And this is going to talk about that we're talking about people whose energy is drained before sessions and all the rest of it. So calories are currency, so you need to know your budget. So that was a calculated formula, which we're going to go back to. Your energy balance. Okay, so whose tank runs like this? So Monday, who feels like their Monday workout session, their tank's full? Their Wednesday workout is feeling like this, and then their Friday, Saturday workout is feeling like that. So just if you want to just like even just give me a thumbs. Let me see if I can get everybody here on this screen. So I can't really see everybody. Let's see. Okay. And even in the chat, if you want to put into the chat, just type in just if this is how you feel throughout the week, give me a thumbs up in the chat. So for instance, the start of the week, you feel you've got a good bit of energy. Towards the middle of the week, your tank's half full or half empty. And then towards the end of the week, this is how you're feeling. So Friday, you're feeling like this. Okay, so Joan's feeling it. Okay, a couple of the other ones are feeling it as well. Okay, Emma, you feeling that way? You thumbs up. Yeah, Peter, do you feel like that? Do you feel all guns blazing the Monday? So you're sort of half and half. Good. Calories are on point then. Okay, Katie, what about you? Do you feel, is this the way your tank feels? Do you run empty towards the end of the week? Okay, Lynn, what about yourself? Yep, same thing. Okay, cool. Right, let's get back to it. Okay, so very, very common. Very, very common. Okay, so again, this will be due with the carbs. You know, you're obviously, as the week goes on, you're probably not eating enough. You know, you're probably far too busy, or else your balance is off completely. So this is what this represents here for you. Okay, really, really good one. So, and this is just to show you exactly what it's about. So the muscle glycogen overview. Okay, so when you're 100% replenished, you've had your pizza or whatever it is at the weekend, and your carb full, that's why you're feeling up here. Okay, you're fully replenished, even though it's probably been maybe not the right type of carbs, but still your glycogen stores have been replenished, and that's why you feel you've got more energy. Okay, so then when you come down, you know, you've got, if you're 50% by Wednesday, you're muscle impaired. And then when you come down again by Friday, you're at that critical low level. You're down here. You're just feeling absolutely drained. Okay. And that's when injuries can set in as well, especially if you're tired during sets and you're not fully, full tension on and all the rest of it. Your form starts to get a bit sloppy. Okay. So that's why nutrition is so, so important. When you think about even keeping yourself safe in the exercises, if you're under eating or you're not eating properly, you're potentially putting yourself at risk during the exercise sessions. Okay. So it's another weekly periodization. I'll not go through all this here, but I will send this to you. I just want to cover the main things of it. Okay, this here is a slide here that I really wanted to hone in on. I thought this slide was absolutely fantastic. Okay, so again, some of you have probably already seen this slide. Okay, so perfecting the pre-training meal. All right, so 6 hours before a meal, 6 hours prior to a training session. Okay, this is what Chris recommends. Okay, solid meal. Okay, so carbs, potato, any potato, rice, pasta, noodles, and so on. Then your next one, your protein, any lean meats, fish, fatty meats, eggs, dairy products, and so on. And then your fats, fatty meats, fish, eggs, full fat dairy products, nuts, seeds, avocado, etc. And then fiber. Now, pay attention to this one, all vegetables. All right. So who here is actually including fiber in their diet? Like who has vegetables every single day?
I do.
Yeah, fair play. Fair play. Does anybody not eat vegetables at all? No? Okay. Okay, grand job. So 3 hours prior to the workout, okay, solid meal. So again, this is what Chris is suggesting, white pasta, white rice. So the reason why he's going white, okay, so he's going white is because he's wanting high GI, so it's high glycemic index. So it's quicker release. It's quicker release energy. Okay, so the likes of the brown stuff is going to be slower release. The likes of the white carbs is going to be quicker release. Okay, so it's coming up closer to the workout. All right, he's talking about pita breads, bagels, and all the rest of it. Lean meats, full fat yogurts, cheese, and all that sort of stuff. Eggs, full fat, small salad portions. Now, 90 minutes prior to the workout, he's talking about semi-solid meals. So that's the likes of the fruit, the bagels, the cereal bars, honey, and jam. Jam's a good one. Jam and rice cakes. If you haven't had much and it's 90 minutes before a workout, it does the job. It really does. That and a coffee is lethal. Protein bars, smoothies, There's the scare yogurt. So Anna Marie must have wrote that in there. Fats, minimal, ideally none. This is so important. Taking fats an hour and a half before your workout is going to give you a terrible workout. You're going to be so sluggish. Try and avoid them at all costs, okay? And also fiber, 90 minutes, so no veg, 90 minutes before a workout either, okay? It's to do with the digestion of it. It's too slow to digest, okay? Then 60 minutes before the workout, energy gels. Again, I'm not really a fan of all that sort of stuff, energy gels. I do like a wee Lucozade Sport, I have to say. I like a wee one of those on a Saturday morning in the team training, getting me going before I take Zoom at 10. And I like that as well, you know. And again, I've fasted. I haven't had anything to eat, so I need something before I go into that workout. Protein, no protein 60 minutes before. And again, like you would see some people in gyms and they're sitting drinking protein shakes during their workout. Take it afterwards, take it post-workout. It's too slow to digest. It's not going to serve you during the workout. Okay. I've seen people drinking milk during their workouts as well. Again, it's too slow to digest. Drink it afterwards. Okay. Fats, none. And then veg, fiber, none. Any questions around that, anybody?
I've one. It's just obviously whenever we're doing like 6 a.m. workouts with you, like I don't eat anything obviously before. I just come straight in and do the workout. Does that like make any difference doing that?
No, I mean your meal that you have before you go to bed would be relevant.
Okay.
So what would you have before you go to bed, like roughly?
It's usually just like peanut butter on toast.
Okay. Yeah. And what about your dinner then before that?
Oh, well, yeah, I try to kind of make my dinners like a mix of everything. So like protein, carbs, and like vegetables. Like
yeah. So that's good. That's still gonna serve you the next morning. The only way that you would be able to do it is if you got up ridiculously early, but then you're going to be absolutely shattered and you're not going to get your 7-8 hours sleep. So I don't recommend doing that. You know, getting up that bit earlier to eat. Caffeine is one of the best like stimulants for exercise. So you drink coffee, don't you, Sonia?
No, I just drink tea.
With tea, well, tea, yeah, caffeine in that as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you'll be absolutely grand. You'll be fine. If needs be, one of those isotonic drinks, if that helps as well.
Okay.
But training at 6 a.m. is one of those things that takes a while to get used to. And I know you've been doing it for a while now as well, but it's a shock to the system if anybody's never trained at 6 a.m. Or 7 a.m. I know some of you have started joining the 7 a.m. club. For me personally, I love training. I would train at 5 a.m. in the morning if I could. I just think for me, it's the best time. You know, I just find I can get the most out of myself. Okay. But I've been doing that for years. I remember at the start I used to feel sick and stuff and all as well. I would have to maybe have something. Banana is really good. A banana is fantastic. You know, you could have a banana before the workout, it'd be grand. Okay. So that's that one. Any questions before I move on?
No, all good.
Okay, grand job. You're still with me anyway. It's good. Okay. Right, let's share more slides. And then we're nearly at the Q&A session. So, okay, back to share screen. Paragons. Everybody see this okay? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. And again, some of you have seen these slides before. So this is from Tony and Jens. So Tony is a qualified registered dietitian. Okay, and this is his work, okay, that he's got for us. So high protein snacks, whey protein. So just look at this here. So 33 grams, and this is on average, 33 grams of a protein shake is roughly 120 calories, which roughly gives you 25 grams per serving, okay? Deli meat, 120 calories for 4 ounces. Said it's 24 grams of protein. Protein bar, 220 calories, roughly 20 grams per bar. That is kind of the go-to. Most protein bars are roughly between 20, 25 grams of protein per bar. The tuna pot is my fave. See, tuna, really, really good. It said 60 calories there. It must be like a bit of a smaller sort of tin of tuna, but tuna is fantastic. It's really, really good. And sometimes I would just have tuna on its own with like a wee bit of beetroot or something. I know it sounds like a wee bit sort of weird, a bit bland, but you know, if it fits your macros and, you know, you've got, you know, 30 grams of protein to hit and you've got a wee tin of tuna there, go for it. Don't be afraid. Everybody feels that every meal has to be with carbs and all the rest of it. You want a tin of tuna with a wee bit of mayo on it mixed through it, go for it. Who made these rules up anyway in the first place? That food had to be out a certain way. Do your own thing. If it works for you, it works for you. Beef jerky, not a fan, but it's there anyway. Cottage cheese, that's a good one. So cottage cheese, Katie, a good one for you. You and the Katie, yeah.
I'm not a huge cheese eater. I do eat cheese. If you know, like it. Yeah. But like cottage cheese and cold cheeses and things like that are a bit of a no for me. So I don't tend to go near them.
But yeah, fair enough.
Greek yogurt is when the next one there. That's obviously I eat my body weight in Greek yogurt over the week, so it gets a bit samey. But just trying to think of doing different things with it, you know.
Okay, grand, cool. And you've also got eggs there. I don't know what that beef bar is there. It looks pretty stinking, whatever it is. Like, it looks terrible.
Katie, with that Greek yogurt, I add that into like curries and things and soups.
Okay, yeah.
Kind of boost the protein.
Yeah. Yeah, I do the same, or I put a dollop on the top when I serve it out. Yeah, so it's a good one. Like
string cheese, chickpeas as well is another one. Would you eat them, Kitty? Would you?
Yeah, pretty much every day. Every other day, it's either chickpeas or lentils in most things I eat.
Yeah, you're flat out with them. Okay. Grand. And then this one here. So these are you know, plant-based proteins versus animal proteins. Okay. So you know, you've got, you know, 7 grams of chickpeas. This is per 100 grams. This is the protein that you're going to get. So per 100 grams, you get 7 grams of protein with chickpeas. Per 100 grams, 14 grams protein with egg. And you can see this. So oats, there's just maybe some more ideas there for you, maybe like brown rice, granola, lentils. I know you're saying you're eating a lot of that. Cashews, peanut butter, almonds, avocado, 2 grams. You'd have to eat a lot of avocado. And again, that would fire your calories up massively, like, you know.
Yeah,
so you,
some of them you have to eat so much of it that it's physically like impossible to eat so much of it that you're getting the
what about, and I know, like, you know, not really like a big sort of supporter of protein shakes, but the Protein Works, the vegan protein powder, I actually have it. I think I still got some left, but it's actually okay. And it's one of the ones that's been researched, and I've had other clients that have used it as well. And now, don't get me wrong, you're not going to be like rushing to pour yourself a drink of it. Like it doesn't taste like overly amazing, but it's palatable. And it definitely will help you meet your protein, your macros, like. So it's called the Protein Works, and just get the vegan protein powder. And it's pretty good because there's not all that crap in it that the rest of the protein powders bulk out with. So it's one of the cleaner ones.
Sorry, Katie, this is one that I just have on hand. This is vegan.
Okay.
And I just, sometimes I'm a bit like Dave, it's not so bad, but if I'm struggling to get my protein in, I know it's there just to, you know, just quickly. And I sometimes drink it with coconut milk, believe it or not, or, you know, something a little bit different to give it a wee bit of a boost.
Brilliant. And Becky, what do you call that for everybody, and where do you get it?
I get this one in Holland and Barrett, but you know what? Lidl had it in.
Yeah.
And it's just the Optimum Nutrition Gold Standard 100% plant-based. But you can get it on Amazon, and you can actually, I think it's actually cheaper on Amazon. It's about 20 quid. And yeah, if you're stuck with your protein, I think it's 24 grams every 300 milliliter serving of water.
Okay, brilliant, thank you.
Like it's not the worst, it's not the best tasting, but it's definitely not the worst one I've tried. But like, you can jazz it up with coconut milk or almond milk, or, you know, just something different, and then maybe pop a dollop of Greek yogurt in. I don't know, just I know what it can be like sometimes.
Yeah. a nice go-to as well, Katie, and anybody else that's interested in it, is the Alpro Simply Plain yogurts. You could mix some of the protein powder in with that. So if you get like a strawberry flavored one, you can let it set in the fridge overnight, and it almost be like an angel delight, you know, and have that. It gives it a different texture, and it's quite nice.
Okay, that's a good one.
Try that one. Also, protein powder with oats. So if you are doing it, just boil the kettle, put the oats into the bowl, pour the boiling water in, and then add the protein powder. Do it in that order, because if you put the protein powder in first and then the oats and then the water, it just makes an explosion. So you have to do it. There's a sequence to it. Like, so it's oats first, then the boiling water, then the protein powder, and stir that in. And again, you can get like chocolate flavored oats or protein flavored oats, or you can do it in the pot if you want. It's up to you, totally up to you. But that just gives you another way of mixing it up.
And you're microwaving that then? You're doing oats, hot water, protein, and then you're microwaving it?
All I do is I boil the kettle, pour the hot water over the oats that are in the bowl, and then after that I add the scoop of protein powder in it and just stir it and have it.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah, or you can do it in the pot. It's slightly nicer. You do it in the pot. It's just if you're rushed for time, the bowl does the job. It used to be my go-to in Queens, because your break was literally straight into the microwave. I think you could get as quick as possible, and it was quite nice. There's other go-tos. Anna Marie, what was your ones about freezing different things? Wasn't there like freezing yogurt, wasn't it, and stuff, and having it so that you eat it?
No, it wasn't protein. It was more like a chocolatey snack. So it was just like, you know, Nutella or Proteinella, and I was just taking a scoop of it and putting it on like a wee sheet of tinfoil and putting it in the freezer, so that then it froze in like wee chocolate drops. It was just like it wasn't a protein thing. It was more just like a.
So I suppose the benefit of that is whenever it's frozen, it means that it's going to take longer to eat, which means you're going to be not eat as much of it and be more satisfied. As for instance, like if you get the Nestle yogurts, the Milky Bar yogurts, I think they're 90 calories or 98 calories. If you freeze that and have that with the dessert, and you have that with the Hartley's 10-calorie jelly, that is like your dessert in like 100 calories. Do you know what I mean? If you're looking something just to finish off your dinner with something sweet, but you don't have loads of calories to expend, you could do something like that.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
You would have the jelly and the yogurt together, whereas I would have the Milky Bar yogurt frozen with a wee chocolate, nice fiber bar, you know, one of those.
Yeah, and the other ones as well is the Fulfill bars. If you microwave them for 30 seconds and then come out and then have them, it's just like melted dessert. It's quite nice as well. The Fulfill bars definitely taste okay. I haven't tried the rest of them, but I remember that was a big thing on Instagram about 5 years ago. So doing that as well.
Sometimes I would do the overnight oats, you know, with the oats with natural yogurt, or even Greek yogurt and frozen berries, and just layers, you know, just layer it up and then put it in the fridge, and then you have it the next morning, and it's absolutely delish, really lovely, you know.
Absolutely love that one.
I love Greek yogurt with just any fruit. I would tend to have Greek yogurt with fruit. Blueberries, I would cut my own fruit, melon, whatever I've got going, and even put on like some granola. I know it's high in sugar, not too much, but something like that in the mornings for breakfast is good, you know.
Yeah, brilliant. Keep the ideas coming, Chaz. I love it. Okay. So listen, there's just another one there, and again, I can send these slides to anybody if you don't have them. So just the bottom here, you know, plant protein, animal protein. It's just showing you the different swaps basically that you can go for. And then if we come down here, protein per calorie. So this is really interesting. So like, let's say for instance that we want to hit 30 grams of protein. We come up here, you know, the chicken breasts, see the way it's labeled in there on the chicken breast, the tins of tuna are in there as well. And that's 100 calories. So if you look up at the left, it's calories, and down the bottom, it's grams of protein. So then, you know, we come up again, we've got bacon medallions, salmon mackerels, and look at this. So this is really, really interesting. So you've got the Big Mac burger. So for 30 grams of protein in a Big Mac burger, which it's saying that it roughly has, it's going to cost you roughly 500 calories. Look at that, okay? Whereas if you want 25 grams of protein in almonds, it's going to cost you 600 calories. So it just shows you, like it's crazy. I don't know, calories are calories if it fits your macros, but you got to think as well about your health, you know, too, whenever you are making up your calories, especially if you're going to be eating like this long term. But it's just interesting how it all factors up, and you can see that. But again, if you're having to go for the vegetarian options, you are going to have to eat a lot more of the foods that you're eating, but you're going to have to be a lot more savvy to make sure that you're able to fit that and not go over your calorie range. Because I totally get what you're all about, Katie. I totally get it. Okay. Let's see what else here. Okay, there's Tony's way that he works out your calorie range. So he does it 22 by your body weight in kilos times your energy expenditure. So, you know, sedentary 1.2, active 1.6, and very active 2.0. To gain muscle, you basically add 5% onto that total. To go into a calorie deficit, you minus the total by 10%, and that's it. Okay, you take pictures of that, you can write that down. Okay. Bloated, feeling after food. This is just what he was suggesting. 30 days elimination of different foods, you know, going through them all individually. Dairy, gluten, and all that sort of stuff. IBS, if anybody's suffering from IBS, reduce fiber, okay, which will help. Also, intermittent fasting for IBS is really good as well, because it just gives the digestive system a chance to breathe. It just gives it a break. Okay, anybody suffers from that. Cravings is a habit. Okay, sorry, cravings is a habit. Cravings is a habit, so either reduce or replace with something better. For instance, you know, if you're flat out eating, you know, dairy milk bar every day, you know, switch it with a protein bar. A protein bar is still processed, but it's the better option. It's about replacing something with something else. It's not about just completely eliminating it. It's about taking small steps, okay? If you eat 3 takeaways a week, it's reducing it to 2 and then reducing it to 1, okay? It's not about just taking it all out at once, because it's not going to work that way, okay? Because you've already built yourself into this habit, and if that's the way you eat, you need to slowly reduce it, but you also have to replace it with something else. Okay, same as like if somebody's eating, you know, Coke all the time, it's just maybe like they have 5 tins of Coke a week, maybe reduce it down to 4 and have 1 Diet Coke, just wee small things like that. Also, the likes of Anna Marie talking about freezing stuff like Protein L and stuff, and also like you find your appetite's really high with sweet stuff. Why not freeze it, which means it takes you longer to eat it? Why not eat the 10 calorie Hartley jellies and stuff like that? Okay, it's about switching things over. Also, what Tony mentioned before is that basically when you are getting cravings, you know, say at the end of the night, you're really, really hungry, you're getting cravings for different things, it basically means that you're not eating enough food and you're not eating the right balance of food, okay? Because when you're on point and you've had all your food, you feel stuffed. Am I right, Emma? Yeah, because endometriosis and weight gain, we'll not cover that. And that's just Tony's website, thefemaleway.co. And that was that was last year. I don't think that offers on anymore, but that's his website anyway, if anybody's looking to get in touch. So I'm going to stop sharing this. I want everybody to work out their formula. And we're going to have a Q&A here for the last wee bit. Okay, so what all did you get? So unmute yourselves and tell me what calorie range you got. Okay, interesting to see. So Anna Marie, let's go. No, Shaz, did you work yours out?
No, I didn't. But what I was going to ask you was, you see, as far as the fitness pal is concerned, how do we best show when we go to a restaurant, you know, for showing and you know, you could be having, like, I would have a salmon in the restaurant with miso salad and whatever. It's just, you know, how do we best show the calories whenever we can't get, the list doesn't come up with what we want, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so you're going to have to kind of write that off and guesstimate as best you can.
Okay. Yeah, right.
I think the most important thing is to enjoy the meal, and you know, if you're going out for a meal, make sort of smart food choices as best you can.
Yeah.
But I think you have to enjoy the food, because at the end of the day, it is a marathon. This is a lifestyle change. This isn't like going out and feeling guilty about ordering something that you want to eat. Like, you know, I know if I'm going out to a Chinese restaurant, I'm not going to be sitting worrying about the calories. I'm just going to have it. And I think that's really important, that if you are going out, as long as it's not every single weekend, if you are going out with friends or family, whatever, that you enjoy the experience and you're not getting caught up in what the track.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. And also you've given some great advice for me as well. You know, because I do tend to run on empty, which is not good. So I will make the effort to do shakes, and whether they're natural or adding in some of the ideas that Anne-Marie and other guys have come up with are really good as well. You know, to just prepare that if I know what, personally speaking, if I know I'm going out on the road, that, you know, I'm not going to be eating during the day before I go to the gym, that I need to prepare stuff and bring it with me, you know. And I think there's some really good ideas there. I never thought about freezing, for example.
Yeah.
Never thought about that bad boy. So
good one.
Yeah, definitely.
Jazz, banking calories. If you're thinking there's something coming up, you know, bank 200 calories Monday to Friday. There's 1,000 calories. There's 3,000 calories for you. Go out and enjoy your evening.
Yeah.
And that's going to help as well. Intermittent fasting if you're going out. So just skip breakfast and have a really, really light lunch. And then there you go. Spend the rest of the calories in the restaurant or whatever it is.
Yeah, but just even ideas you said about tuna. I mean, that would not be my go-to food, but it's actually a really good go-to if I haven't got time, you know. So there's lots of good ideas. Thank you very much indeed.
The thing with tuna, it's cheap. You can keep it in the car.
Yeah.
Keep it on the dashboard.
I don't think so.
No. So did anybody work out their formula for me? And then we'll hit a Q&A. Actually, I want Emma's going to share a story with us as well, and then we're going to go into a Q&A. So Emma, you're going to just tell us basically about your results and stuff from eating more food, really, you know, in a wee second. Yeah, eat more.
Do you want
give us your calorie range that you worked out.
1953.
Very good, and that's roughly what you're on, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. 1 night. Very good. Okay, Emma, just give us a bit of an overview as to the early days, I think, of the calorie tracking, just for some of the newbies, because I know some of the newbies struggle with it. Just about your initial experiences, your fears that you had, and kind of your biggest wins essentially since it all sort of started.
Okay, so I probably underate a lot and freaked out a lot with having to eat the calories that you were setting me. I struggled with that. I struggled with eating that quantity of food. And then I got a wee bit more savvy, I suppose, and added things like shakes or cheese onto omelets and things like that to try and boost the calories. But I suppose once I started eating that quantity of food and that quantity of calories, then results kind of started to kick in from that. And there were lots of freaking out moments and wee panicky messages going, this is too it worked.
Yeah.
It worked.
Class. You know, it absolutely worked. You look amazing, Emma. Fair play to you. At what stage do you feel that you started to trust in the process? And again, this is for anybody here who's on the fence. How many weeks or months, how long did it take you before you realize like this actually works? Because I know, you know, females do panic, they freak out when I say to them, like, you need to get your calories up. They do, like, that's what happens. I
saw results within the first 3 weeks, really, but then I suppose I tried to do it by myself and not really listen to what you were telling me, and I just kept restricting the calories, and I also didn't eat carbs, and now I eat loads of carbs.
Yes.
I suppose I've learned I have a better relationship with food, really. I now eat when I'm hungry, and I know it's because my body needs it and not denying myself that. So yeah, I suppose I feel more comfortable eating that quantity of food. I don't really feel hungry. I might feel hungry towards the end of our program, you know, like maybe at the end of the 3 weeks, 4 weeks or so. I sometimes feel a wee bit tired then. And then you've just told me, well, just up your calories. And I've done that and I've been back on track again, you know.
that is a great point that Emma's made there. So for instance, in the likes of the programming, especially the team training programming, it kind of wavers. It's in a microcycle. It peaks every 3 weeks and then drops down. A lot of the programs lately have been like that. And that week 3, if you're feeling drained, increase your calories by 200 a day. And carbs, it's increasing carbs. Remember, carbs are the primary source of energy. If you're feeling drained, there's no point in continue to feel drained, because remember, this is a lifestyle change. It's a marathon. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to increase the calories by 200 every day until you are starting to feel fresh. So 200 calories a day. If it's still not happening, keep the calories high and stop training. Take a rest. Take 2 or 3 days off training. Get early nights. Keep the calories high. Keep hydrated. Don't drop the calories when you're feeling drained. Okay. Keep the calories high. And it'll serve you. As like Emma has experienced, it comes back, bounce back, healthier, fitter, stronger than ever. Brilliant. Cheers, Emma. Becky, as well, if you want to bounce in. So Becky, like obviously you've been calorie tracking for a while and getting really good results as well. So if you just want to come in and talk us through your initial calorie range, your breakthrough point, and how you feel right now today with strength, fitness, and recovery.
Well, for me, I think it was when you again started with the calories. I was just like freaking out, and I still freak out. And I know I'm going to be having a call with you on Friday, and I know what you're going to say. This is why I've avoided our conversation, and I know he's going to try and up my calories, and it's freaking me out a bit. But I think I actually need to, just with the lifestyle I lead, because I'm so active and I'm so busy. I found results within about 4 weeks, and now I've actually plateaued a little bit. Like Dave was saying, I've plateaued a little bit, but I haven't gained. I've just stayed the same. So I've maintained everything, which I'm delighted with. But I think I now need to change it up a little bit to see where I can go next, and stop comparing myself to other people. By the way, that's another big thing for me. I look at other people's results and I freak out about it a little bit. So if you're a little bit like that, if you're a little bit like me, where you look at other people's results, don't do it, because it's about your journey. That's one thing I've had to actually learn, just to concentrate on my results and not worry if someone's a better, or I freaked out about that.
And thanks for that, Becky. Sure, and that's important. That's a very good point that Becky brought up. Everybody's journey. Some people get results really, really quickly. Some people take a while. And what you got to remember is everybody has an exercise history behind them, whether they played sport, competitive sport when they're younger, and all the rest of it, or maybe they haven't done any fitness at all. And all these things are going to have a factor in as to how quickly you're going to get results. Okay, so you can't compare yourself to anybody. All you can compare yourself is to the progress that you're making at the current moment, and using yourself as competition. You know, each month that you want to progress, but you cannot compare yourself to anybody else. It's not going to work, and that's something I would stress to everybody. And cheers for that, Becky. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Sonia, jump in. Sonia, I wanted you to jump in. Sonia, so Sonia first came virtual during wasn't it before the start of the pandemic, wasn't it, Sonia?
It was in May. It was May last year, yeah.
May last year. So Sonia jumped on board to get married, ended up with a 6-pack. It was nearly an 8-pack. Got married with a 6-pack. Like, I don't know, what more can you want? You know? And then talk us through that. So initially joining, talk about the high calories, talk about getting yourself into shape, and then kind of, if that's okay, if you can talk to us beyond that point, if that's okay.
So I joined with you. You put me up to 1,800 calories to start with, and I get, like everybody else, I freaked out of that. Was really worried about going into high calories, but you know, I saw all the other progress photos, so I trusted you and I went with it. And it only took from May to August to get a 6-pack. It was really, really quick. Unreal results. And then I had to stop training because I actually became quite ill for a couple of months. And I wasn't watching what I was eating, wasn't exercising, wasn't doing anything, and all the weight plus more went back on. So then I came back to you in March this year, and now I'm on 2,300 calories, and the 6-pack has started to come back. So
yeah, and that's a good point that Sonia's made. So Sonia came back and she was sort of playing about between the 1,800 and 2,000 calories, and she had hit a plateau. She had actually hit a wall. So was it 2 weeks ago? Something like that. Was it 2 weeks ago? We went to 2,300. Yeah.
Yeah, so we went up to 2,300 2 weeks ago. I was like so bloated for the first couple of days, but the bloat passes so quickly and your body just gets used to it. And yeah, like unreal energy, like sleeping so well, and like I don't feel tired like at all, ever really. So yeah, it's really good.
Oh, brilliant. You're selling it to me, Sonia. Keep telling me, keep talking. You're selling the dream.
And one thing I would like to say to new people that are coming as well is to not freak out about or not get too hung up on your scale weight. Me personally, I actually put a stone on whenever I went from before I started training with you to getting a 6-pack. I went from about 8 stone, not 8 stone and a half to 9 stone and a half, and I'm now at 10 stone. So like don't be freaking out about your scale weight, because I'm far like leaner and in better shape than I was whenever I was weighing less. So like don't be freaking out about it.
That is class. Like hopefully that gives everybody a bit of reassurance. And also do expect to put on muscle when you're training. Resistance training will break down muscle, and that's going to add to the scale weight. That's why you can't use scale weight as a sole measure of success. Okay. It's just a small fraction of it. Okay. So, I mean, Sonia is in better shape. She's got lean muscle mass. She's reduced body fat. She's fitter, stronger, feels great. I mean, put the calories up, put them up, trust in the process, trust in me. I'll guide you through it step by step, and I'll make sure. There's a couple of other ones as well that have done the high calories too. I know Bethany has just came off that as well. She went up to 2,300 calories too. And again, fantastic results. So don't panic, trust in the process. Peter as well. Peter, you've been hammering the 2,500 calories for quite a while. You've been doing pretty well on that too.
We're up to 27 now. Were you up to last week? 27. I did my wee calculation there.
Yeah,
I think I did it right. It's come up as 2,880.
2,880.
Yeah.
So give us your scale bit.
No,
that's grand. That's grand. No, that's
no,
grand.
go on ahead. No, that's fine. It's 20 stone and 5 pounds.
Just trying to work that out. 20 stone and 5. You convert that into pounds for you. So
yeah, I think it's 287 pounds.
287 times 10 times by your 1.375. So we've got 287. So Peter, the high end for you then would be 3,900. Okay.
All right. Okay.
So, but obviously, the calories would be stripped right back, and then you're building up to that, because it'd be quite hard to hit straight away, and you wouldn't be going up to that anyway. But that would be like a maintenance for you, and then you would obviously take 10% off that. But a way of doing it, like anybody who has to reach high calories, I would always start them off lower. So sometimes, for instance, with females, if they've been really under eating, I would start them at 1,400, then 1,600, then 1,800, and then push up to the higher calories they got. But cheers for that, Peter. But to talk us through, it's obviously 2,700 now, but talk us through the initial phases of that, because obviously you've dropped a fair amount of weight. You're looking fantastic. You're a lot fitter and leaner and stronger. So just talk us through that process of calorie tracking, from not calorie tracking to calorie tracking. I know you went through the bloat and all the rest of it, so just talk us through that, please.
Well, I started the calorie track in March. Whenever we didn't have gyms or anything like that. It started in March, but before I was just eating anything I wanted. Custard creams were a big downfall, and then I looked at the back of the packet and found out how many calories were in it and stuff like that, and my head popped off, and I was like, okay. So I
love custard creams.
I know, but I haven't touched any of them since, really. I've got my wee. My wee treat bars, like they're only a certain amount of calories and stuff like that, so I would still have them, but it's really structured my life now, so it has, and I wasn't eating breakfast before. I'm now eating breakfast because I found protein Weetabix. So I have Weetabix because so there's good fiber and good protein in them with my milk. And then I use an Arla, like a milkshake type thing. It's got like 20 grams of protein in it. So that's my breakfast in the mornings. And like Dave, I would try and have a heavy calorie protein type meal in the evening and just have like a, something basic for lunch. But yeah, it has really helped me feel a lot better and feel fitter, even though after that session this evening there, I don't feel fit at all because it nearly killed me. But at least it would have died in me at home instead of in the gym.
Oh, brilliant. Cheers, Peter. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. Absolutely fantastic. Anybody, any questions? We'll wrap it up with the Q&A here. If anybody's any questions, fire away.
What do you do when you go on holiday?
When I go on holiday, it's a holiday. I eat what I want. I'm not really a big drinker. I'm a lightweight, but I'll certainly eat what I want. And I'll just write it off. And the thing is, if anything, it's going to serve you. Taking a break from calorie tracking, yourself after Christmas, you get an absolute sickener of eating chocolates and everything else. You can't wait to get back to eating properly again. So it's good and it's healthy to take a break from diet now and again. And knowing that you're going to go on holiday and you're going to eat whatever you want, you're going to have a few drinks, you're going to lie in or whatever, you do it. You need it absolutely, and your body will thank you for it. So I wouldn't bother tracking calories on holiday.
Obviously, just because we've just came off a holiday, and I'm obviously would be tracking, and my tracking was really, really good before we went, and has been for months. I've even surprised myself that I can't believe how well I've tracked. But going on holiday, I found, because I've calorie tracked for so long, I was much more food aware. So I wasn't feeling deprived, but I was happy to say, I'll have something else, or else I'll just choose